guys, it's Maz here from Ride Dirty. Today we've got our Revo carbon intake system that's just arrived. Really excited to install this one, see what it does on the car. We're going to go through every component with you, what's in the box, how to install, most importantly. Later we're going to move into installing all the components, how we put them on the car, what's needed, a full instruction video on that coming up in a bit. Really excited to put this kit on. It's supposed to give the car a bit of power. It's aesthetically pleasing, it looks real good, like you'll see in a minute when I unbox it. And we're going to give you the link below on where to purchase it from Revo as well. But let's get into unboxing it, see what's in the box and how good it looks. I got this separate, it's the turbo muffler. This is going to sort of give us a better sound, reduce turbulence. It's an additional cost. I'll put the link to this below as well. So if you're going to get the whole kit, you can choose to add this on. That is literally it, it's just this, and it's going to replace the OEM part. You've got the little Revo logo on there, it's quite nice. Not really going to show in the engine bay, but it's what the performance gains are that matters. Right, oh, look at that. This is, by the way, not the gloss version of the carbon kit. You can get two kits, basically. You can get the gloss version or you can get the matte version. I've gone for the matte because it just looks a little bit more black, and that's the way I want my engine bay to look. But this is essentially the carbon scoop that you get that goes on the front. It's really nice, isn't it? I mean, it's proper carbon. It's got their little logo on it. That's going to look really nice on the car. That is literally this box, you know, that is what you get in there. It's the first part. Baby. Right, so we've got our carbon lid. This is going to replace your OEM part on top, and it's larger, so you're going to get more air inside it naturally. Pro panel filter. This is an important component. The Revo logo. You're going to replace your OEM carbon piece with that. There's a coolant line that comes with it as well to rerun your coolant underneath the kit, which is pretty easy to do. You don't have to do that, you can keep it on top if you like. I'm going to put it underneath so it doesn't show. And then you've got your little connection component here for your downpipe. And here's the pipe. This goes straight into the turbo, as you know. Really nice quality, nothing like the original one. It's got a little Revo decal on there as well. I put that on. You could choose to do that if you want. I think it looks really nice, and the engine bay is going to look really nice as well. So I'm going to pass this on to the boys, get them outside doing some hard work, get this fitted, and then we'll talk about the results after. Catch you back in a bit. Okay guys, what we're going to do, we're going to run through the bits and pieces that we need to go and do this install. So what we've got here is the front scoop, which is coming from the front grille, and that's going to lead onto the top box for the actual induction kit itself. Then they've also changed it with a panel filter, so instead of your standard one that's like twice as thick, ignore the dirt on there, it's a Revo ITG filter on there as well. And we've also got the piping from the box to the turbo, which is also done in a nice silicone finish. It's quite nice. So we've got the adapter on there as well, which is going to fit inside here and then lock on to the turbo itself. And this is the turbo muffler. This is what we're going to change. Since we're getting all the other bits and pieces out, we might as well go and get this in there too. Today's tools, what we're going to need. We're going to need a pair of pliers, make sure they're quite big, because there is a bit of a gate clamp that you need to kind of take off. A couple screwdrivers, preferably a ratchet, but you know, we've got one that kind of gives you the 90 degrees so we can still get at it. Then we're going to go in with our T20, which is going to be the one that takes off all the screws around the top of the lid, and a flashlight just in case we can't see where we're going. Okay, so we've already removed two T20 screws from there and there, which lets you take off this little panel. So you clip it from the back and slide forwards, and that's your little plastic tap to remove it. To remove this panel, there's one T20 screw there, and there's another one over here. Okay, so before we can remove this panel here, we actually need to take off the lid to the airbox to remove this panel here. Just before we remove it, I'm just going to show you where the screws are located. Notice if you want to come in,
There's one T20 screw down there. In fact, let me tell you what, let me get a light. There's one T20 screw down there.
Yeah.
There's one more back there. And then if we follow around the box, we've got one on the side, two on the front, and we've also got another 3 down here. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we'll see you back in a second. Pete, just one thing I forgot. There's a little air attachment hose here on the top of the box. Just give it a good pull and it will come straight out. Don't forget to do that. Okay, so we've removed all the screws on the top of the box. Now you want to go give it a good pull and it will just pop straight off.
There we go.
Okay, one other thing we did behind the camera, there's actually, if I can take that out, there's actually like a little V-band clip that sits around the top of here. You will need a proper pair of pliers to actually open that thing up, because you ain't gonna move nothing with your hands unless you go to the gym and bench a lot. Hell of a lot. But anyway, once you take that off, you're going to remove the Jubilee clip here. From removing that with a little flathead screwdriver, as you can see. Okay, next step is, right, let's take this panel filter out so we can remove that front filter.
Really, really nice.
Go to the side. Okay guys, this under tray for the box is held in by 3 rubber grommets. One of them is underneath the box, which you can't see. There's also one down here. In fact, let me grab the light so you can kind of see that a little bit better. There's one down here. And then you've also got one just back here as well. Okay, so the easiest way I found this comes out.
Pull it.
You slide your hand just underneath and give it a good little tug up. And that's it. You're free from those 2 grommets. Ta-da! Freedom. We have the piece. Set that aside. And the front grille piece just literally unclips from the front there, like so. You're going to see these little tabs. That little bit there, we popped into that little section there. So you remove the torque screw from there, and that little tab just comes out from there. And it's free.
Guys, welcome back. We're just getting this little breather pipe off. It's just a little small squeeze and pull off, simple. And then you're exposed to, what is this called?
I don't know, I'll call it the elbow that goes onto the turbo.
The turbo hole.
Before this comes off though,
yeah.
we were a little bit premature at removing. There was another Torx bolt that was on the top here. I think it was a T25. Once that comes off, it lets this slip back and then it will come out of place.
You turn it away from you and then just pull it out. Yeah. It's got a little rubber seal. It's real simple, just keep pulling and it should just pop off.
That's where your Torx screw was. So we removed everything off the old induction kit. Since Mario decided to order the turbo muffler as well, we might as well do the install at the same time because it's right down there as well. So it's just an additional 3 more Torx bolts that we need to take off. I think they're Torx bolts for Island. There's one here, one up there, and there's one on the other side. That comes off, and we can then put in the new turbo muffler. So we might as well do that at the same time since we've gone this far.
Dan's trying to get Jubilee clip down there.
Bit of a bugger.
Here's a bit of a bugger. It's a bit at an awkward angle. But essentially that pipe comes off and the turbo muffler goes straight in there. Alright, so we've taken that out and that is what we're going to replace it with. 1 and 2.
What are they, Dan?
They're the 5mm Allen keys.
5mm Allen key screws. And there's 3 of them. Just screwing
2 on the top and then 1 on the bottom.
Cool.
That's
There you go, there it is. That's the best one.
just there.
Right there, so that's in.
Got 3 bolts going around it.
And then
We've now got this little pipe that goes in between the turbo muffler and I believe the cold air intake.
Dan is fitting a pipe between the turbo muffler and this pipe here. And that pipe has 2 Jubilee clips on it. Dan, if you'd like to display the pipe.
This one's kind of loose a little bit, but you can't get behind it to get it.
He's just trying to squeeze those clips on now.
In the wrong place.
That is a nasty,
This
nasty
is
clip.
too flexible. This will break.
Don't like it. Don't like it. I don't like it. I just don't like it.
Trying to get it on there, just wedging out.
Have you got another one?
Crazy, like I think where you went before.
Yeah, it's there.
It's there.
It was one fucking lower.
Alright guys, we fitted the turbo muffler now, so that's fully on. Dan's tightened those Jubilee clips up real nice, which connects to this pipe. Now we are going to proceed with just the Revo air intake now, so which has all been dismounted. That pipe there.
That little bit there.
There you
This
go,
little
that big
oval.
open pipe. That is where we're going to fit our next bit, which
Right.
is...
Here's the bit that goes on the end of the turbo, where the Samco pipe's going to connect to. So there you go, Dr. Dan.
This comes with the Revo kit.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is literally just a push in and then turn.
You just push it in a turn. Any screws involved?
Well, there's 2 little locators on it. You just literally got to keep turning it until it locates nicely. It's a bit of a faff, but there we go. You get it as soon as it's located. Just give it a little turn like that, and it ain't going nowhere.
Wicked. Nice.
And the silicone pipe.
So he's just fit that on snug as a bug. So hold it in place, strap up the Jubilee clip. Breather pipe that we're connecting right now.
That's it.
Yeah, this is the original base of the induction kit, so this doesn't change. You just reinstall that back in there.
Okay.
Just be careful of when you install it. This pipe just needs to be shimmying the way down there somewhere.
Okay,
make
so
sure
it doesn't
you
lead to anything.
It doesn't
just
need
needs
to anything. There's a little
capped
block
off
in
as
there
well.
in there as well. So that's already pre-capped, so they come like this straight out of the factory.
Okay, cool. To make sure it's not rubbing
Okay,
against
so
anything.
before we install that, what we do need to do is take the front piece and align this. So this section here will need to go inside here, like so.
Okay.
So you have a nice good seal all the way around there.
Yep, to make sure it's all
These
aligned.
2 bits have to be put together
Before popping it in.
Before pushing it in.
Otherwise you
Makes it a
won't
lot
seal
easier.
this.
Alright, so
So to slide
that
it in,
with
Do your hand.
I'll tell you
I'm
what,
gonna
let me just quickly show you guys how this slides in. So you've got the 2 clips on the front here. So what you can do is take this and slide it in like, not like that, and kind of just pop it down like that. But you're going to need to attach that on there. So let's quickly pop that out, get that in there.
does that clip in place or it just fits in?
No, it just fits in,
Okay.
like so.
So you would need 2 people helping you with this job, I recommend.
And you hear that clip into place. And then we can just shuffle the box into place. And give it a good push and clip it down.
Yep, that was
Make sure
on.
this one lines up. That's in. That's in. And if you want to come around here, Mills, you can see what I mean by... In fact, let's grab the flashlight and show you.
Yep, please.
You can see what I mean by having a nice, good, clean seal
Yeah.
all the way around the box. And especially making sure you've got a good, clean seal just here as well.
Right, cool.
Okay, peeps, so we've got the piping back in, we've popped the box in, we've got the front scoop in there as well. Now it's just a case of popping these 2 torque screws. There's going to be one that's going down here, and we've also got the other one going down here. That's your second one there. So that's securely in place now, that ain't going nowhere. Grumps have held that in place. Final piece.
Revo air filter.
Well, it's not a Revo one, it's ITG really.
Okay.
But you know, Revo branded, because it is a Revo kit. So that's your filter in there
It's a
as
basic
well.
panel filter, really. It's not like a big mushroom sort of filter.
Just to give you guys a before and after. That's the sandwich that you get in there. And there's
Okay.
your difference. So you guys can see it's a massive difference in how thick that is.
Yeah.
It's going to help you breathe better, so you get a lot more colder air. So this thing, throw it in the bin. No, I'm joking. Keep it just in case.
Yeah, always keep that. Never throw good parts away.
So we'll pop that back in there, just in case you want to go back to stock. At least you can put it back in afterwards.
Yeah.
That's your filter in there. We'll get the lid. So what I would suggest is one of these are going to be a tricky screw, which is going to be this one right up here, because you're going to have to bolt it into the top. So what I would suggest is put the screw in first and start with that one. So let's pop that into the piping. We can get it in there. And we're in. Perfect. Spin around the clip. Can hold that there. And just line up the box. And you'll hear it snap into place.
There you go. It's all sealed now, isn't it?
Make sure everything's nice and snug. And we can tighten up that Jubilee.
There you go.
Guys, just remember when you tighten this down, this is a carbon fibre piece, so don't over tighten it, just go hand tight.
Sorry, man.
Just go hand tight so it's nice and snug. And there you go, that's not going anywhere.
Cool.
Okay, so like I said before, we forgot to pop this in, so I've just popped off the lid again. Mills, if you want to come round to the other side of me.
Come round over here. Nice.
That little hole right there, you're going to feed that through and just connect up the tube. Give it a good
Okay,
push.
so that's a breather pipe, yeah?
And that's, well, not the breather pipe's back there, but this is another little air pipe that's going in there.
Okay. So it's like a breather pipe.
What's a really good tip? What is a very good tip?
You said it.
It's literally put it on there. Do not let go.
Don't let go.
And be very, very careful around the battery.
That's in there.
Is it in?
It is in.
Cool. Nice.
Cool. And just tighten it down.
There you go.
Bang,
So-
bang.
Just fit the screw.
It melts. You need to shuffle back a bit. I'm sorry, I see.
Cool, so you couldn't really see it on camera, but just fit the screw straight in the hole, which is a bit tricky. And then just tighten it.
Okay. Part of the toolkit at all times is a butter knife.
90% of all undoers, which you will undo.
Butter knife, it's stainless steel.
90% of mine
Keep it
are done
in
with
the
the butter knife.
So another tip, guys, make sure you always have a butter knife.
And a torch. And a torch.
I was trying to find the
Okay,
hole,
so
but
these
you
guys
came round
are
quicker
just
than I could.
screwing back in all the 101 screws around the airbox.
12 hours later.
Yeah.
101 Dalmatian.
And we've got Mr. D here. Hey! There's something on the inside.
You don't really need a lot of tools for this, you know.
No, you don't. It's just a few basic screws.
And the final touch.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. All screws are back on. Engine cover is back on to make
Just
it
like
look
to
nice
point
and
out.
ready again. And just as a quick overall, this is what it looks like once it's all fitted.
Maz, would you like to go give a little guinea pig test and start up your car, please?
Moment of truth, people.
Right, now we've got the engine on. The boys are going to do a few final checks to make sure obviously everything's in place for one. They're going to try and feel to see if there's any air leaking, secondly. And then we're going to let the car warm up. We're going to take it for a little drive, see how it sounds.
Yeah, blah blah.
And then one day when we have good daylight, we will do a full review on this, just to show you the effects of what this induction kit does.
Mills wants to test out the new Vimble, so we're going to go for a run and see how steady this shit is. So follow me.
Yeah, but now I can't even see you here. Run back.
What were you lot doing?